Tell me, what do you do when you finish a book? Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to do the finish the book tag. Now, I keep track of when I'm tagged in videos or in tags particularly in my YouTube journal, and for this one I wrote Aoife's name next to it, but I don't know if it was Aoife at Pretty Purple Polka Dots or Aoife at Words of Clover who tagged me in this. I've searched both their channels and I also cannot find this tag on either of their channels, so I don't quite know where I've got this tag from. However, I found a version of it on YouTube. I can't find the original. If I can find it, I will put it below. If not, I will link the one that I'm using. But this just seems like a really interesting little tag. It's only got 8 questions to talk about what you do when you finish a book. And I don't think that's something that I've talked about before. If I have, I haven't talked about it for a while, so I thought it would be fun. So yeah, whoever it was that tagged me in this, thank you for tagging me. Can't find where I was tagged. Maybe I'm just making it up. But yeah, I thought this would be a fun little video to do. So question number 1, as always when I do tags, I've got my screen up here so you can see the questions. Question number 1, do you keep a list of all the books you have read? Yes, I do. I didn't used to, but over the kind of 5 years that I've been on Booktube, I have kept lists of books in a couple of different places. I use GoodReads and StoryGraph. I use both to track my reading through the year and to help me with things like stats and all that kind of stuff. They're always linked in the description. I don't use them as social media spaces. I just use them to track my reading. But if you want to see in real time what I'm reading as I read them, and my rating and all that kind of stuff, they are always linked in the description. But I do also have my trusty blue notebook, which is technically a reading journal. I mean, that's a fancy word for it. I started this in 2022, as you can see from the front page, and I just do a very, very simple way of tracking my reads. So I'm filming this at the start of January, so this is December's spread, if you want to put it like that. There are people who journal far better than I do, but for me this is just an easy way of keeping track of the books I've read. I write them in the order that I've read them. I write down the page number, I write down the star rating out of 5, and then at the end of each month I do like a little wrap up section. So number of books read in the month, number of pages read, which I then break down for pages per day, give my average star rating, I pick my favourite read of the month, my most disappointing, I put my TBR in, and I also put my sub count in, which is just for me to keep track of things. Any DNFs go down here, and then I do a balancing the books, and that's literally it. I do one of those for each month, and then I do like a yearly wrap up at the end of each year. So yes, I do write down, keep a list of the books that I read, both digitally on GoodReads and StoryGraph, and also physically in my trusty blue notebook. Number 2, what stats do you record? Like I said, I record how many books I've read in a month, page count, average star rating, my favourite reads of the month, and my most disappointing. Those are the stats that I track. I do. Question number 3 is, do you give star ratings? Yes, I feel like I need to. So I think I've got cat hair on my face somewhere, as usual. I feel like I need to update this video because I do give star ratings, but I haven't talked about it for a while. So I give star ratings out of 5. I do give half stars. I don't give quarter stars. That to me feels just a little bit too picky. And I rate on how I feel about a book. For it to be a 5-star, I have to have a really emotional reaction to it, and then it kind of comes down from there. I start out expecting every book to be 5 stars, and then I kind of deduct if I need to as I go through a book. But yes, I do give star ratings. I give them out of 5. And that's just worked really well for me. Last year, 2023, was a big 4-star year. I didn't give anywhere near as many 5 stars as I had done before that, which is interesting to think about. Like I said, I feel like I need to redo my star rating video. I will put the last one I did in the description if you're interested. But yes, I do give star ratings. I think they're helpful. They are like a helpful shorthand for me to kind of show both to myself when I'm looking back at things, but also to you guys how I felt about a book. And if I am recommending it, and if it's a 4 and above, or if it's a 3.5 and above, then I'm recommending it. Okay, number 4, do you review your books? Kind of. I mean, yes, because I do monthly reading wrap-ups where I do a review for every single book that I read. I will link the playlist for that below if you're interested. I don't write reviews on GoodReads or StoryGraph. I used to, and I used to put a lot of pressure on myself to do it for every single book, and then I would also put those reviews on my Bookstagram account. And in 2022, I realised that I just hate doing it. I'm dyslexic. I find it quite hard to do. I wasn't enjoying it, so I stopped doing it. So on my StoryGraph and GoodReads, you will only find a star rating for anything that I've read from 2022 onwards. And I stopped doing Bookstagram reviews for individual books because, to be honest, they're a lot of effort and guys didn't really seem to be enjoying them that much, so I stopped doing those. And life has been better since. So yes, I do review every single book I read because I do these videos, but in terms of writing reviews down, no, I don't. So somewhere in between. Question number 5, where do you put your finished books? I really like this question. So there is a process. Of course there is a process. So as I am reading books in a month, once I finish with them and I've filmed the wrap-up clip, I then log them in the reading journal. And then they go into a pile in our office upstairs in our spare room. And that stack builds over the month, so that at the end of the month I can see all the books. I've got a nice stack that I can take a picture of and put footage into my vlogs for. But also just for me, so I can see. There's something really nice about seeing the physical stack of books. I don't read every book physically, obviously. Some I read on audio. But just to have that physical stack of books. Then at the end of each month, I take that stack apart. Some books go to my mother-in-law and my father-in-law for them to read. Others go straight out on an unhaul because I know that nobody else is going to want to read them. And others go straight into my permanent collection, which is the bookshelves behind me and to the side and above me, which you can't see from this shot. But some of them just go straight in to my permanent collection. So that's what I do with them. The ones that I'm going to unhaul, I periodically, well, not that regularly actually in 2023, trying to be better in 2024, I will do unhaul videos for the books that are definitely leaving, and then once they have been like officially unhauled or filmed for an unhaul, they will either go to other bookish friends who I will send a picture of the stack to and they can choose out of there what they want, and then anything that's left either goes into my classroom library, my school library, or gets sent to the local charity shop to hopefully find a new home. Okay, number 6, how do you pick your next book? Okay, so I stopped doing monthly TBRs in 2023 and that was really, really good for my reading. Are you guys interested in a video where I talk about TBRs or lack thereof and how they helped my reading last year? Let me know if you are. I'm happy to do it, but also if that sounds really dull, obviously I won't. Yeah, I stopped the monthly TBRs. Up until then, I'd been very rigid with my TBRs, and I am a completionist. I like a list. I like to tick things off lists. I like to complete things, all of that stuff. But with my reading, I was just finding that it was too restrictive to have a monthly set TBR. So I stopped. I did do a summer TBR, which was really fun. But the summer for me is a lot more relaxed because I'm not at work in August. And so I have kind of more time to read, and I feel like the rest of the year when I'm teaching, I have to be quite selective on what I'm picking up because I've only got very limited time to read. So I stopped doing TBRs. I do have, each month I will have a little stack of books that are my like priority reads, and they will be any ARCs, so advanced reader copies that I've been sent either by publishers or by authors that need to be read for the following month. If I'm doing any projects with other people, if I'm doing buddy reads or live shows, those books will be in that stack, and I keep it as small as possible. And then this year for 2024, I am trying to make sure that there are no books older than 6 months on my TBR. So any books that are coming up to that cutoff point will also be in that priority stack, and I will just work my way through. So usually I've got a little stack of books to kind of focus on, and then after that it's just a case of looking at my shelves and seeing what I feel like reading, what am I drawn to, what I'm excited for next, all of that stuff. So I'm somewhere between a mood reader and a planner, I'm not sure, but yeah, that's been working for me really well in 2023, and I'm carrying it on into this year. Number 7, do you have any rituals when you have finished the book? Yes. So when I finish a book, I will take the bookmark out, and I always choose a bookmark that I feel like goes with the book, and I'm very lucky to have such an extensive collection of bookmarks that I can do that. And I will immediately log it as read on GoodReads and StoryGraph, and I will put in my review on there, so star rating and stuff like that. And then that book goes up onto my chest of drawers in my bedroom, and it stays there as a reminder to film until I then film a clip for it. Then I film a clip for it, and then, like I said, it goes into the stack for the month. So that is the ritual when I finish. I log it straight away on GoodReads. and StoryGraph. Sometimes the star rating might change the next day, but I always go with my initial gut feeling to begin with, and then I can make any adjustments that I need. So yes, that is my little ritual when I have finished the book. And then the final question is, who do you tag? So if you haven't seen a tag video from me before, all I do with tagging people is I go onto my subscription feed, I see who has posted a video recently, and I tag a bunch of those people. Not everyone that I follow on YouTube is a booktuber, so sometimes you have to scan through a little bit, but let's tag the following people who I can see have just posted videos. So we're going to go with Mel from Book Fiend, named Mel. We're going to go with Willow from Books and Bow. We are going to go with, let's scan through that, not a huge, they're not a booktuber. Let's do Bree from Four Paws and a Book. Alice from Alice and the Giant Bookshelf, Mary from Mary Among Stories, and let's do one more. Let's do Charlotte from Books and Bargains, because this is a really fun short tag and I'm really intrigued as to what other people do when they have finished a book. So tell me in the comments, what do you do? Do you have a ritual when you finish a book? How do you choose your next book? I'm really interested in all of that. If you got to this point in the video, just leave me the book stack emoji, because obviously we've been talking about reading habits. Please subscribe if you'd like more of this chaos, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks everyone. Bye.